less than a week ago. So let's get into this recent decision from the Biden administration. We had some progressives who were cheerleading this idea that Joe Biden could pretty much be pulling a lot of troops out of Afghanistan by September. And we'll see why it looks so bad. Less than a week after pulling 2,500 U.S. troops out of Afghanistan, the Biden administration announced today that it will send 3,000 new troops. Oh, in essence, you've added a net gain of 500 more troops. Way to go. This is what happens when you have premature celebration progressives until they prove to follow through on their actions and over the long haul and not just a short amount of time. So this is pretty sad if you ask me. Because those of us on the left who have been talking about this issue with Biden when it comes to pulling troops, some of our thoughts were, prove us wrong. Because we were like, oh, no way that's going to happen. The chances of that being followed through on? Not a chance. And all this did was prove those of us on the left right. But the pathetic part is we had a couple people scold, Krystal and Kyle Kulinski scold us to their left for not being able to be willing to take them at their word when it comes down to it. No way I could trust them. So let's the good news is I do not have to go through a lot of trouble to find footage of Krystal and Kyle Kulinski aging bad on it, because Unapologetic has already done that for us. So here's what Krystal said when this news eventually came out about 4 months ago.
So, look, I don't think anyone is more wary or cautious around this belief that this will actually happen than us. We're clearly looking for all the signs of like, where's the out? Where could this go on the rails? Where could he change the decision? I have to tell you, every word that he said yesterday, every bit of the reporting that has come out has been extraordinarily positive and extremely encouraging. Yeah. Obviously, we're going to keep our eye on it. You have no...
Oh, man. Krystal has an extremely naive moment, because you're thinking someone with her position, her milquetoast leftist arguments, that she wouldn't fall for this shit. But she just proved that she did, when she should really know better than to fall for the lies of a person like Joseph Robinette Biden Jr.
idea what kind of an assault he's going to come under. All kinds of ugly things are going to be planted in the press. All kinds of arguments are going to be made. There's going to be a bipartisan effort to try to undermine President Biden's decision here. But from what he said yesterday, he appears very adamant. And there is a really revealing piece in Politico about exactly how he came to this decision. And he really did have to go over the top brass at the Pentagon. They actually have a quote here that basically says, look, Anthony Blinken is really running the show. He's Secretary of State. He's the one who really made the decision. So it's a return to civilians actually having control and actually being the ones who lead the charge, make the decision, and move forward with it. Again, we are going to keep our eye on this to make sure that they don't waver now that they have taken this bold stance. But everything he said yesterday was spot on.
To me, this is just like when people fell for Joe Biden's advocacy on the public option, and even worse in that last debate against Donald Trump, when Joe Biden honestly had a very strong statement in favor of the $15 minimum wage. But we've seen how fucking quickly he abandoned the fight for the $15 minimum wage. And this is just very embarrassing on the part of Krystal Ball to fall for this. And go hook, line, and sinker for that Politico article propaganda. This is a very bad look for her in that moment, because if there's anything that everyone should know about politicians, is that to not trust their word, but to trust their actions. What they say doesn't mean shit. It's all about their actions. And it's been a big problem as of late, especially with, for example, squad sycophants, is because they still defend their rhetoric as opposed to the actual, as opposed to condemning the actual action. And this just exposes how bad Krystal was naive and fell victim to the propaganda that someone like her, being independent of mainstream media, should really know better than to do. So I'm going to move further down the line to Kyle Kulinski and expose him for what he had said on this pulling of the troops from Afghanistan.
Kyle Kulinski, now play that clip and I'll come back and break it down.
And he says it's going to be a full withdrawal. Now, in his argument to back up his decision, listen to this. A reporter asked him, was it a hard decision to make to decide to pull out of Afghanistan? He says, no, it wasn't. It was absolutely clear. We went for two reasons. Get rid of bin Laden and end the safe haven. Bin Laden's been dead. So he's correct. We were told that was the reason. We gotta get bin Laden. Bin Laden attacked us. We gotta get him and destroy the safe haven for Al-Qaeda. Guess what? Bin Laden's been dead for a long time, and there is no more safe haven for Al-Qaeda. According to our own intelligence agencies, there's less than 100 Al-Qaeda operatives left in Afghanistan. And those are old numbers. Those numbers are 5 or 10 years old. So he's correct. And again, this is something that you hear on Secular Talk all the time. I actually don't think Biden or one of his staffers is watching Secular Talk or any of the other lefty YouTube shows, but I do think that this shows there was actual thought about what we're doing there. Why are we there? Why are we there this long? What's the point? What's the definition of victory? Which gets to the next thing. So he said in his speech on this, quote, no one wants to say that we should be in Afghanistan forever, but they insist now is not the right moment to leave. So when will it be the right moment to leave? 1 more year? 2 more years? 10 more years? 10, 20, $30 billion more? This is Joe Biden saying this. Joe Biden. So my takeaway from this is, he did just sort of get my hopes up a little bit, that he actually means it, that he's going to pull out on September 11th. Because if he didn't really mean it, he wouldn't be making such good arguments for that position. So, I mean, now the question is, and this is going to sound conspiratorial, but it's true, is the deep state going to let him do it? is the military-industrial complex going to let him do it? And just how committed is he really when there's going to be vicious pushback? So I'm very skeptical, but you want to know what gives me a little bit of hope? Here's what gives me a little bit of hope. The reaction to this from the establishment. They are losing their shit. They've gone crazy. They really have. And it's not just Republicans, and it is Republicans, but not just Republicans. It's not just, intelligence agencies or the deep state or the military, although, again, it's them too. It's also Democratic senators. Menendez was like, I don't think I like this. Shaheen was like, this is a bad idea. And so the fact that this is getting backlash from Republicans, from the military, and from Democrats leads me to believe maybe it's real. Maybe they know something that I don't. Maybe, they can tell that Biden's serious about getting out. But if he pulls through with this and does it, I give him massive credit. And that will be part of his legacy that's positive. If he actually withdraws every troop from the Middle East, it's positive.
And the problem with this, Kyle, is the fact that you're willing to give him prepaid credit on a thing where no politician of any type in this Congress deserves any type of prepaid credit. The fact is, instead of calling their bluff, y'all just went all in, and you just lost the game on this one.
And he'll go down in history for that in a positive way. And I'll give him massive credit.
All right, so all of the previous points that I've...
This is pretty sad. And this is the problem that we have with some of the people that we have in this media space, is the fact that we've got people like Krystal, like Kyle, who tell us that we're being too hard on the politicians who support the policies that they say that we want, and the fact that they embarrassingly fell for Joe Biden in this instance. And these are two people, if they're more principled, they should absolutely know better not to do this. Not to give the prepaid credit, not to trust the propaganda of the mainstream media, even the ones that reveal more of the inner workings of the Congress, like Politico and Axios. But it's sad that that they're more professional media personality, progressive media personalities, but when it came down to it, they decided that this was the right moment to actually trust Joe Biden and the administration. And look where that got them. It's like wanting to finally getting that date with that person that you had been hoping that would happen with for so long. And then you two finally agree on a night to go out and meet somewhere. Then you know what happens? You get stood up. And the problem is, you know better, and you probably saw some signs along the way with this person from your past knowledge to prove that you would flake. And they got so caught up in the emotions of the moment that they pretty much ignored all the past history. And they got stood up. They got left crying alone in the restaurant. And if they were handling this the right way, they would have been forcing them to, they wouldn't have been giving the Biden administration prepaid credit, and would be forcing them to prove their actions and to hold fort on those actions as well.